For solving by factoring, I'm going to be sticking with the box method. If you prefer the grouping method, just keep in mind that these two numbers that we find will just go in that straight line, but you should end up with the same answer with either method. For this first problem, it's already factored out for us. We don't have any exponents with the x's. So we take each factor, x plus 1 is a factor, and x minus 5 is a factor, and we set them both equal to 0. When I go to solve, I subtract 1, and then for this one I would add 5. And that one is done. So I have those two answers. So this is just to show you, once you have that factored form, how you solve for those two x's. So we're going to do two problems where we actually need a factor. To solve by factoring, it needs to equal 0. So we want to always make sure it's equal to 0 before we start doing the steps for factoring. I would subtract the 6 from both sides, and it only goes with its like term on the other side. So I have 6x squared minus 18x minus 24 equals 0. Okay, now I check to see if there's a GCF, and 6 can divide out of all 3. So I'm going to divide 6 out of all 3. So x squared minus 3x minus 4. Okay, now I'm going to factor this expression. So first times the last is negative 4x squared. Middle is negative 3x. So two numbers I would multiply to give me the top and add to give me the bottom would be negative 4x and positive 1x. So I set up my box. This, we always look at after we take out the GCF, so I'm looking at this expression. X squared goes in the top left, negative 4 in the bottom right, and then these two numbers in any order here. Okay, my GCF for the bottom is negative 4. For the top, it's just x. For this column, it would just be x again. And this column, it would be 1. So just check that everything multiplies out to equal, and it does. So I have 6, x plus 1, x minus 4 for my factored answer. Now we have to set each factor equal to 0. So we have 6 equals 0, x plus 1 equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. This 6 equals 0, that will never be true, so that's not going to be a solution. Here I just subtract 1 to get x equals negative 1, and then add 4 to get x equals positive 4. So my highest exponent is 2, and I have these two answers. One more example here will be number 7. So again, we have to get it equal to 0. So I just need to subtract this 3 from its like term over here. And then 3 minus 3, that would be 0, and then this equals 0. So that's what I would be left with. There is a GCF between these two terms, and that's just x. Okay, so in this example, this is it factored. I took out the GCF and I'm done. So now I'm setting each factor equal to 0. X equals 0 will be one of my solutions, and then here I would add 6 and divide by 7. Okay, and then those two would be my answers here. Just to start off number 8, we need it equal to 0. So I would subtract 3 from both sides and add 7x to both sides. So let me first show. So I would add 7x to its like term. That would give me 15x squared plus 4x equals 3. And then we need to subtract 3. So we have 15x squared plus 4x and minus 3. So this one has a couple steps to get it equal to 0, and then you do your steps for factoring.